you. I'm surely going to follow my own advice and end 2024 very well. Now, as I said earlier, we are speaking to Thomas Akwei, who is a mental health practitioner, a businessman, and a pastor. Today I've been blessed, Kra. 2 pastors, 1 show. Wow. Now, they say that there's healthy types of stress and anger, but that there are also negative types of stress and anger. But we will delve into that as we hear from Thomas. We are going to speak with him right now. Thomas, you are welcome.
Thank you, Nana Amma, for having me on your show this morning.
So they say that there are healthy types of stress and anger. So before we deal with how to manage them, what are healthy types of stress? What's healthy type of anger? Like, what exactly does that mean? Because to me, it sounds strange.
Okay, so a very good morning to your listeners and viewers. Thank you once again for having me on the show this morning. But I want to, before I say anything, let everyone understand that anger is part of human instinct.
Okay.
So it is not wrong to be angry, or it's not evil to be angry.
Okay.
But how you or what you do with the anger the outcome of the anger determines whether it's evil or bad. Right. And also with stress, our daily activities put us in a certain state of mind, or move us to get a certain sort of distress.
Okay.
Our nature itself, our environment, where we find ourselves, in our offices, in our homes, in our churches, among our friends, there are certain things that goes on. So according to Staley, he defines stress as a pressure experienced by a person in response to life demands. And you must understand that as long as you live on earth, there will always be demands.
Sure.
So when it become intense, then that is when you say that I am stressed.
But I mean, sometimes you can hear people say, I'm stressed. And you wonder, like, maybe you are confessing it, so you are adding more onto you. But how can stress be good? Like, what does it depend on the circumstance, or what exactly?
Okay, so most times people interchange being tired with stress, being stressed out.
Okay.
No, when you talk of stress is more of the psyche. It's more of the mind.
Okay.
So you can be physically tired but not stressed.
Okay.
On our daily work, there are times we do certain activities that our body gets weak. It doesn't mean we are stressed out. We are fatigued.
Okay.
So we must be able to differentiate between being fatigued and being stressed. Stress has to do with more of psychological response.
So can your body be physically stressed? Is that also possible?
Yes, your body can physically be stressed. Or
that's still fatigue?
So, because it is the mind controls every facet of our being.
Okay.
So, for instance, when you wake up in the morning and you don't want to go to work, sometimes you just pick a phone and call your boss. Boss, I am sick. Meanwhile, you are not sick. But you realize that in the course of the day, you are not well.
Right.
So the mind has now programmed the body to respond to what you confess.
Okay.
So the way you think determines. Sometimes when your thought is weak, it can affect your physical being.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So your mind is what is affecting how your body is.
Yes.
So can you think yourself out of a stressful situation?
There are a lot of techniques when one is stressed. There are a lot of techniques to come out. And I think going deeper into it, I will dive into that, and then we can look at how you manage those stress.
Okay, so from a medical perspective, what is anger? And you mentioned it's not a bad emotion to have. And I mean, if you look in scripture, it even says that you can be angry but sin not. So does everybody get angry? Because there are some people, I see them, maybe I don't see them in their home environment, but when you see them, it's like they are never angry. They are just like normal. Does it mean that they are bottling it up? Does it mean that later on they're going to blow up, or what?
You see, anger is characterized by antagonizing towards someone or something for the feel of the person deliberately doing something wrong to you. Every human being gets angry, but we have different levels of anger. Okay. Like I said earlier, anger is part of human instinct. Anger helps you sometimes to deal with situations, sometimes to prevent you from going the extra mile to, hurting yourself. But if you don't manage it well out of the box, then it becomes fatal, it becomes disastrous.
Okay.
Anger can be disastrous to the individual himself and the people around them.
Okay, in what sense? Please give us some examples.
So, for example, when somebody gets angry, he begins to attack people physically.
Right.
Some people begin to destroy things around them. Sometimes in relationship, a boyfriend, girlfriend kind of thing, but the lady gets angry, he begins to throw, smash the phones and stuff like that. That is when anger has been shifted towards the wrongdoing. But, I used to work in a certain company and I had a very arrogant boss. And she will always get you angry. So this is how I manage her, because she was always pushing you to get angry. So when she pushes me, and I sit up and do the work extra, so that the things I'm supposed to even do the next day, I make sure I do it today, so that by the time she comes, everything is done and she won't get anything to talk about.
Right.
So sometimes anger can push you to be productive, and sometimes anger can push you to be non-productive.
Okay.
Yes.
So that means that would you say it's better to suppress or express your anger, or it depends on the level?
What I would say is manage it. In the management of the anger, there are times you must suppress, there are times you must express.
Okay. Depending
on the circumstances. For example, when you have issue with your wife at home, married people understand. Most of the time, your spouse may push you to certain level of anger. Now, when you want to express the anger and you are not careful as a man, you may stretch your hand against the wife.
Sure.
So in this instance, you must suppress that anger, cool down, and then if you are okay, or whenever you get settled, you now sit with her or him and address the issue. If you always want to express the anger, sometimes you may express it in the wrong way.
Right.
Yeah.
So it depends on the circumstance or situation.
At a time.
Yeah. But there are people who suppress it when they should express it. Going on the side of the management, how would you advise those types of people who they tend to, and you see, sometimes when you are angry, it can come out, if I'm angry at you, it depends on who you are to me, maybe. I can be upset with you, but I can be laughing with you and telling you how I'm upset with you. But because usually I'm in generally a good mood most of the time, as you know, like when I'm upset and you can see my face will change, then you know that, Charlie, this one did. I done it, before.
Sure.
But some people are just flat. They are just... They don't shout, they don't say anything untoward, they are just there like that. Can it harm them internally? Okay,
so in psychology, when it comes to conflict resolution, we have what we call the approach avoidance conflict, the approach conflict, the avoidance conflict, the avoidance approach conflict. What does it mean? There are times you must approach, you must confront the situation. There are times you must avoid the situation. There are times you confront and avoid. There are times you avoid and avoid.
Okay.
So depending on the circumstance at the time. Now I'm blending both anger and stress. Now in stress response, we have two models. We have what we call the fight mode and the flight mode. Okay, what is the fight mode? The fight mode is that when the stress is something that causes you to stress up, when it comes, it's either you stand to fight it, or you decide that, okay, let me walk away. You run away. For example, okay, before I continue, Amma, there's a snake here. Okay.
You are testing me.
Yeah, so typically, do you know what I did? I was just trying to test your pulse.
Yeah.
The moment I said something, you see, you responded.
Yeah.
It's
I'm still looking behind me. For those of you who are not watching and you are listening, he said there was a snake, and I had to check behind me to be sure.
yes. So now the snake becomes the stressor.
Right.
As soon as you hear that, your body reacts quickly. So in that instance, you are thinking, must I run away from the snake or must I kill it?
So in that instance, you have to decide what you're going to do.
Yes.
And does your personality affect that decision?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
It does. Some people are slow thinkers. Some people are quick thinkers. So depending on who you are will determine how your response to that situation at a time.
Okay.
And also it depends on the danger at a time that will determine your response to that danger at a time.
So if I tell you that if you don't turn the TV off, it will cause a fire. So maybe you walk slowly towards the TV. But like you just did to me, there's a snake behind you.
There's a snake.
The response will be a lot quicker.
Yes.
Right, okay.
That's nature.
Right.
Nature has made it possible for us
My heart is still beating. No?
Your heart is sorry. I'll come to that. I'll come to that when I get to the effect of anger and stress.
Right.
Now you realize that as soon as the stressor came, you now begins to have palpitation.
Like seriously.
And sometimes it will transport to headaches. So if you are not able to manage your anger well, your stress well, then you are now gearing towards getting certain medical conditions.
Okay, such as
You can get cardiovascular diseases, heart problems. You can get high blood pressure. You can also lose appetite. You know, some people can get angry so much so that they won't eat.
I'm not one of those.
Yes, and if you are not eating, you are depleted with nutrients, and that can also affect your health.
Right.
Some people, we call it bulimia nervosa. What does it mean? Bulimia means eating, excessive eating. Some people, when they get angry, they will just want to eat. When they get stressed, they will just want to eat. We call it bulimia. Some people, when they get stressed, they get angry, they eat what we call pica. What is pica? Pica is things that do not usually have any nutrients, like the sun. You know, when women, they be eating sand and stuff like that, you call it pica. It doesn't add any nutritional value
chalk
to you, the chalk and stuff like that. So it can affect your health. You can have mental issues, because when you are stressed and you are not able to manage it properly, you end up being depressed. Okay. And depressed is the highest form of sadness. And when a man or a woman moves to depression, a lot of things come to play. You lose interest in many things. Productivity in the office goes down. It affects your libido. Sometimes your husband, your wife will come say, I'm not interested. Why? Because he's not in the mood. Now, what is the difference between mood and effort? Mood is the inward feeling. The effort is the outward expression. So when somebody's mood is not stable, it affects the person's expression, which is the affect. So sometimes that is what mostly we call mood swing. Today he's quiet, and you can crack every joke. The person will just be looking at you. I've had situations like that, handling somebody, I think, at the Ankafo Psychiatric Hospital. It doesn't matter the joke you crack. The person will just be looking at you. He has gone low in terms of emotion. So when anger is not properly managed, it can lead to some of these things. One thing to the other, and before you realize, it escalates.
So there's one thing that maybe I want you to advise people before we move on. Just dropped road rage. I remember when I first started driving, I was fine. I was driving in the UK. When I came to drive in Ghana, the road rage, I was like, now I have to think for myself. I have to also think for somebody else who is driving, and also think for the next person ahead of me as well. So every minute I was raising my hand, every minute I was screaming, every minute I was shouting. One day somebody said something to me, and he said that, do you want to die young? And I was like, no, of course not. And they said, well, what you are doing, it will cause your heart to have problems, and then you'll just go off. And I'm just like, okay. So from then, I was just like, when someone does something, I'm just like, now driving where, yeah. then I'll just be cool and I'll continue going. So I have found a way to manage that for myself. It may help somebody, but what else can somebody do I know that is something that people struggle with in this here country a lot. So what can somebody do to help for that? And it may also help with other scenarios as well.
Let me give you a very interesting situation that happened, I think, 2 days ago. Okay. I was driving home in the night, and then I got to the police barrier, and then the policeman stopped me. When he was approaching me, he was talking plenty. Officer, whatever, you don't know me from anywhere. You just stopped me and you are shouting. So when he got to me, he said, dim your light. I said, this is my dim light. I said, but your dim light is like somebody's highlight. I said, this. Also, no, then you should have turned it off. Then I asked him, do you know how, you see how it feels like when you are stopping people and you are flashing the torchlight in the face? Then he started laughing. So you see, as far as these are little offenses we encounter on daily basis. Sure. You don't call for it, but it comes. It will land on your doorstep. It comes. This morning when
everybody express their anger or their stress in different or the same kind of ways. I mean, maybe you have two people who have similar personalities and stuff like that, but does everybody express their anger, and can it be the same for maybe those people like melancholics? Do they all express their anger in the same way? Cholerics, do they all express their anger in the same way? Or
okay, so what I would say is we have different environmental factors. Mm-hmm. Now let's look at some of the causes of anger. You have grief. You lose a loved one, a friend, a family member, These are some of the causes of anger. Rudeness, when somebody is so rude to you. Sometimes you are just trying to help the people, but you see that they are so rude. Anger. There's a saying that every hungry man is an angry man.
It's true.
When you are hungry, the least things get you off. You will get offended easily. Sexual frustration can get people angry, especially when your wife demands so much or your husband demands so much, or maybe you have been forced into sexual acts. It brings that rage in you. And I think this one, almost every Ghanaian has that issue. Money.
Oh, God,
sometimes you look at your demands and what you have, you are not able to meet up. Your children are calling you for their school fees. Your wife, there's no food at home. Your rent is due. You are not having increase in the workplace. Businesses, things are not selling, especially those in the import and export. Dollar rate is going up. You realize that it's a salad of trouble you find yourself in. So the moment your son calls you, sometimes it's just a little thing. You shout, keep quiet. The boy hasn't done anything, but because there's no money, because you are thinking, how am I going to pay his fees tomorrow? How am I going to get food for him? How am I going to do? So these are the major cause of anger in our time. And a lot of marriages are collapsing because of that. A man can easily slap the wife because there's no money, and the woman is asking and just go off and hit the person. So money issue. And we have feeling of failure or disappointment.
Okay.
Sometimes you set certain target, especially those in the corporate environment. The management has a target to meet every quarter. And you happen to be in that department that you are supposed to get that target by hook or crook, and you are not hitting it. And if you don't hit it, the next management meeting, you are in trouble. They will be firing you left, right, front, center. And that one alone put a lot of pressure on you. And you enter into your office, you see your junior star, then you begin to, flare up the anger on them. So these are some of the possible causes of anger.
Okay. So have you ever seen like a strange reaction, like a strange stress reaction in another person, like that you're looking and you're like, hey, now why is this person behaving in this kind of manner? Have you ever seen something like strange?
Oh, yes. After having worked in the mental hospital for 12 years, I have seen, if not all, almost every kind of mental issue, from depression to schizophrenia to mania to bipolars to personality disorders to all. And you sometimes, from a professional point of view, now in mental health, what we say is that every behavior is meaningful when you understand.
Okay.
Now, in mental health, it's not like having malaria that a blood sample will be taken to the lab and then we would find a parasite in it and say, oh, this person is having malaria. Mental health has to do with more of interaction. And the more you interact with people, then you get to understand their pain, you get to understand their difficulties, you get to understand what is really pushing them. Because sometimes when people pour out their heart to you, you realize that no, this person has even taken grace for him to even be able to walk on the street. Because the things happening in his life and in his mind at the time, he should have gone off by now. But it's just some grace sustaining the person. So it varies depending on the environmental factors. Sometimes you may have a supportive family or husband or friends, so that when you are going through difficulties and challenges, they are there to bear you. But what if you don't have? You bear it on yourself. And the most difficult thing is if you don't also know Christ, you don't know the Lord, then it becomes very, very, very difficult for you. Yeah.
Okay, so yesterday I was looking at something on a lighter note, and this couple were in an argument. And the argument was about, and you could see behind them that their closet was not big enough for the two of them to manage. So the wife, so what they did was they put their faces against each other's faces. So it's like, my face is on you, your face is on me. And then she's asking him, why are your clothes all over the place? And then he too, like, they're like this on top of each other. I couldn't stop laughing. And they too couldn't stop laughing. And it was their way to diffuse the situation, which could have turned into something else, you know. And she was asking why. And then he said, well, buy hangers. What's wrong with you buying hangers? And she was like, why can't you just put your clothes away? Because you steal my hangers. So then from that alone, as they are talking to each other, they start laughing. Then they kind of came apart, continued laughing. Then they came back together again. Faces are stuck on each other. Then the guy is talking, and then he's spitting. As he's talking, he's saying, like this. And she too, she cussed up. So that completely diffused the whole situation. And I thought that this was a really innovative way to be able to, as a married couple, kind of diffuse angry situations. Because, like you said,
Yeah.
and how to rescue a situation that can be going off when it can be something minute.
True,
like,
yeah.
I'm squeezing the toothpaste from the middle. Me too, I like squeezing from the end. Why have you done this? Why have you not done? Before you know, it's blown into something and escalated into something else. So, I mean, there's that. What are the other management things? You mentioned walking away. You mentioned confronting the issue. Is there anything else that people can deal with concerning anger and also stress as well?
Okay, so before I get there, you know, like I said, anger can be positive, it can be negative.
Right.
Now, what are some of the positive effects of anger? It increases energy, which helps in productivity. Like the example I gave, I had a very disturbing boss who always push you. So I always want to go the extra mile to solve, to deal with the situation. And sometimes, you know, when some people, when they get angry, then they will solve whatever it is. Let me solve it and have my peace of mind. Out of anger, they will resolve the issue once and for all. And then sometimes when people get angry, they'll say, okay, you know what, everybody sit down, let me do it myself. Then you take charge of the situation.
Is that a good thing? Because if you're also micromanaging, it can also put a lot more stress and pressure onto you as a person.
Nobody loves to be micromanaged.
At all.
As far as, you know, even children, when you are telling your child every day, do this, do that, a time will come, the child will rebel.
Like, I know what to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it is not always good to micromanage people. However, there are certain individuals, if you don't do that, they cannot be productive. So you need to push them to the limit. And some of the negative effects also is aggression, self-image, aggression, and then sometimes you become like you are the boss. The ego becomes high. Nobody can tame me, nobody can control me, and that is when it becomes very destructive. Now, coming back to your question, what are some of the ways to manage your anger and stress? There are a variety of them. Okay. Variety of them. Number one, you see, I have a quotation that says that you can't change what you don't know how to change.
Come again.
You can't change what you don't know how to change.
Right.
So, for instance, if you don't know that this is a challenge to you, you can't deal with the challenge.
Okay.
And when I was in school, I have a very favorite quotation I always quote: learn as if there's no God, worship as if there are no books.
Okay.
What does it mean? When it's time for my studies, I don't get involved in, I've been a chaplain all my life. I don't get involved in church stuff. When it's time for church, books down. So you must learn to balance your time.
Okay.
Most people go through stress and anger because they don't know how to control themselves within the time. You can't manage time.
Right.
You can't manage time because time is constant. But you can manage your activities within the time. For example, anybody who is always late to the office is constantly under stress and mostly
yes.
get angered. Why? Because you don't get to the office early and you have a lot of things to do at a time. And you are forced to do it within that space of time. And you put yourself, you are stressing your thinking faculty.
Right.
So you yourself, you are under stress. So number one, you must manage yourself within the time you have.
Okay.
So time management, as we put it, is very key in managing stress and anger. Number two, know what causes the stress or the anger and deal with it. For example, if you have a friend who is always teasing you and as a result, you are always being provoked and respond to him negatively, you must learn to avoid having argument with such person.
Okay.
Know the stressor and deal with the stressor. Number three, you must engage in what we call diversional therapy. What is diversional therapy? As we sit here, maybe something happened and everybody gets angry. You can easily listen to a music which will calm you down. Good music will calm you down. You can watch a movie. You can do something that will take your mind off the situation that is causing the stress. In the home, for instance, you can just begin to do some exercise. You can just watch sports for the men. You can watch sports for the women. You like kunkum bagia, stuff like that. You can, you divert those attention. And then you can do exercise. You can do exercise. Exercise helps you to burn down certain excess fats in you. And as a result, when you feel lighter, one of the things that causes stress is mostly some of the food we eat.
Ah, really?
Yes.
Such as?
And when you have high level of calories, high level, you see, the energy becomes more. And sometimes if the energy is not channeled to useful stuff, then it goes into the negative.
Oh, okay.
If your energy is not channeled into the right stuff, it moves to the negative.
Okay.
So sometimes you must eat well-balanced diet. For example, if somebody gets obese, that one alone is stress on the person. And if unfortunately somebody sees him or her, especially the lady's hair, say, hey, Nancy, why can say? Some ladies will be thinking about this for a long time, and that one alone can even depress them.
When I was younger, one of my uncles, we were having Christmas, and as he was leaving, he says, hey, Amma, you are getting fat, oh. Hey, I didn't know what to, I just couldn't manage myself.
Yeah.
And for a long time, that thing really bothered me. You are right. It really, really bothered me, but I got over it.
Yes. So now look at how it started. The person was just eating junk food, gained weight, became obese. Somebody made a funny comment, and as a result, the person is troubled. So the question is, what if the person had ate balanced diet, which would have prevented gaining weight and getting obese? It means those comments wouldn't have come.
But you see, people can be really mean.
Yeah.
People can be really mean.
That's the nature of human being. You can't change people.
Well.
That's the nature of human being. You can't change people. And you must learn to talk to people about your situation. People you can confide. That's why we have counselors, we have pastors. There are some people, when they are going through distress, they don't have anybody to talk to. And that is very dangerous, because in that distress, a lot of thoughts will come. I said earlier, approach avoidance approach, avoidance. Sometimes, when the conflict becomes so intense in your mind, the next thing is, let me end it all. Then they commit suicide. Yeah. Some people will say, okay, then let me go and drink, and then forget about it. But forgetting that alcohol itself depresses the central nervous system.
Right.
So when you take alcohol for a long time, you end up being depressed.
So what you are trying to avoid, you are rather running towards
compounding it. Maybe in the interim, you may feel a bit relieved. But the question I always ask my client is that after getting booze, after getting high, when you recover, was the problem solved? The answer is always no. And in Alcoholics Anonymous, there's a quotation, and I want to quote: "One never satisfied, 1,000 is not enough." One never satisfied, 1,000 is not enough. What does it mean? Somebody says, let me take 1 bottle of alcohol to get rid of this issue. And as the issue gets intense, let me take 2. So a time will come that the desire to get booze, you are not able to satisfy that desire.
It always increases.
But the issue has not been solved. So you say 1 is not enough, let me get 1,000. But you get the 1,000 still, you are not satisfied because the problem is still there. So don't even go there.
So is it a matter of people really need to look at the underlying issue before they even start trying to fix kind of like the surface?
Yes. So most times people want symptomatic management. What does it mean to do symptomatic management? Symptomatic management is managing the symptoms of the situation, not the cause of the situation. Right. And that is why a lot of people will resort in drugs and alcohol, because if you okay, my wife is disturbing, my brother is disturbing, let me get drunk and forget. But the underlying factor, perhaps you are not giving chop money at home, and that is causing the issue. So instead of sitting with the wife to address that, you go out and drink, and you come back, the issue is still there. So we must deal with the root cause. You must identify, that is why I say you must identify what is stressing you, what is causing the anger. And then if you have to talk to the person, sit the person and say, my brother, in fact, anytime this happens, I get angry. Please, can we avoid doing this? If you talk to him 1, 2, he doesn't, draw back. Even Bible talks.
How do you draw back if it's your spouse?
Listen. That's where the challenge is. But you see, every human being has a soft spot.
Sure.
Every human being. It doesn't matter how wild your wife is. It doesn't matter how disrespectful they are. Every person has a soft spot.
Okay.
Now, to avoid physical attacks when you have issue with your wife, the first thing I would advise is that you take a step back. For example, if the argument is becoming intense, as a man, you can just step out of the house and just pick a straw. So that by the time, nobody's anger can stay on. By the time you come, the person might have relaxed a bit. Then it's better you don't even bring it up that day. Wait. You can even pick it up at midnight, or wait when day breaks. The next day you just call, oh, Sisi or Kwame, yesterday I think you went overboard. But you must also, the tonation is key, because in your quest of trying to resolve it, you might escalate matters again. You try and find ways and talk to him or her. If it gets out of hand, get help from outside. But I always advise, most times parents, your mother, her mother, your father, her father, mostly are not best counselors you must look for in resolving marital conflict. Do you know why? Because emotions are involved. Most times, parents will always take a stand.
Yeah,
it's either the man, the wife's mother would stand with the man and fight the lady, or stand with the lady and fight the man. So it's better you get a neutral person that you can confide in and talk to.
Okay. So, as you have heard, we are talking about managing stress and anger, and we've been talking to Thomas Akwei, and he's given us some hints, tips, and tricks to be able to manage stress and anger. One of the main key points that I took away from what he was saying is that find a neutral person who you can confide in so the person can help you through the situation.
Yeah.
If it be a counselor, if it be a pastor, maybe a friend, if the person maybe is within that realm of maybe profession or something like that. So it's important that whatever you are doing, speak out